Hello and welcome to the PMC podcast. At PMC Lounge, our job is to help you get certified and stay ahead. And the PMC podcast focuses on the stay ahead part of your career. And this is where we cut through the theory with real conversations featuring the practitioners and thought leaders from the project management industry. So, joining us today is Michael, who is not your typical project manager, I must say. And I say so because he happens to be a military veteran. And in addition to that, he also happens to be an IT project manager. So good to have you here today, Michael. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Appreciate this opportunity.
All right. And Michael wrote this fine piece about mentoring, and that's what I want to discuss today. So let me dive right into the opening of your article because you described a feeling that I think many project managers might feel but rarely admit out loud. You mentioned that despite having a great position on paper, you felt a sense of dread every Sunday evening preparing for the Monday workload. Can you take us back to, I think it was 2023, and talk more about this? Was there any specific trigger there?
It took me a while to actually learn what the trigger was. It probably took me a couple years as I was wrapping up my career as an IT project manager and then post IT project manager. It was just that Sunday, some people I just learned this, they call it the Sunday scaries, where people are just a little stressed, a little apprehensive. After Saturday, getting into Sunday, they start thinking about their workload. Maybe they're checking their emails or their manager had sent some requests or some action items to be done that start cycling in their head. And it became a heavy weight for me every Sunday. Just the dread of work. And it wasn't so much the work as it was the unfulfilling aspect of my career at the time. And that was a personal growth I was going through to learn that, to understand what was causing it. The last year or so, I had even written out a list, pros and cons with my position as an IT project manager, and everything was pros. Really, my management was great, my team was great, my projects, for the most part, I enjoyed them. But the one thing that kept coming up, I had done this several Sundays actually, was in the right column of negatives. It was just unfulfillment and unhappiness. And that really seemed to it totally outweighed all the pros. So after a while, I had to really have a sit down with myself and have a deep chat and find out why I was unfulfilled and what was missing from that.
Got it. Got it. And it's interesting that you mentioned it took 6 months for you to realize that giving back was perhaps the answer, and then another 6 months to find how to actually do it. Now, you used one really good metaphor in your article, listening for the knocks. Tell us more about what made mentoring, specifically the veterans, lit that light bulb for you.
Well, I am a veteran. I was in the Army 5 years, served all peacetime, great experience. And I still have many friends that are serving and are just getting out of the military. And I just have a connection with them. I just bond with them, I think, just through our experiences, both good and bad, going through that period of life and that transition. And I do remember when I left the military, that gap from having a lot of structure and, I'll say, family, because it was your soldiers that were attached to you above and below were your family, and then going into just that vast openness of, it's really just a huge void you have when you leave. You go from such structure into, you really need to be self-disciplined. You don't have someone knocking on your door to wake you up at 5 a.m. So that was a big piece of it rather.
Got it. Got
And
it. Now, I really love the whole approach that you walked us through when you mentioned how you were writing the pros and cons and all that. And I also loved how you actually treated this whole mentorship as a project itself. And you mentioned all the five classic project management phases, initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, closing to structure your mentorship. Now, can you walk us through what the planning phase look like with a mentee? And maybe how do you build something like, even a maybe a scope statement or whatever for a fellow project manager's career transition?
Sure. What I've done, I haven't really used that full five project management processes. I mean, I use them, but loosely. A lot of it is
Mhm.
listening to the people I'm mentoring and finding out where they want to go and building a high level outline for them. And I structure our calls. We have calls about, I try to have them 2, 3 times a month. It depends on the availability and it depends on how much they need me to mentor them. The last person I mentored, he hardly needed me at all. It was maybe once every 2 months. We'd go back and forth on text. But it's building an outline, just a high level scope outline, where they want to be and to get them there. And then, their end results and work backwards to fill in those steps to get them there.
So good. So good. Now, you've also talked about working on resumes and cover letters, and perhaps you treat that as maybe an executing phase. But as a project manager, we know that translation is a huge part of our job, right? Translating technical know-how and technical details into non-technical status updates that our higher management can consume. Something similar is what I believe you would face, right? What were your biggest challenges that you found in translating this military operational language into, if I may say, corporate project management language that the hiring managers actually understand?
Right. And a lot of that is done as the people I'm working with, mentoring rather, they're going from active military into civilian life, and there are steps now. I got out in 1997 where it was a little bit gray as far as the steps to transition. Now they're much more structured from the past two people I've been mentoring. As far as
Hmm.
talking with them, there's career counseling and there's more resume building. So by the time they come to
Excellent.
me,
Hmm.
they've already got it pretty well polished. And I'll just add a
Hmm.
couple little points. And when I left corporate America in 2023, I spent 3 months working with a career coach to update my resume and my cover letter and how to interview. So I'm recent, I'm current, I'd rather say current in that language. So I just help them fine tune it. When they come to
Hmm.
me, they're pretty squared away. I mean, they're soldiers.
Awesome.
They know what to do, and they take it very seriously too. They're
Hmm.
they're, they're very serious about it, as am I.
Hmm. Love that. Love that. Now, you've also mentioned that you are already on your second veteran because the first one moved really fast, and you credited their aggressiveness as well as motivation. Um, as project managers, we actually often struggle with the opposite. We struggle with stakeholders who might not necessarily be as engaged with your projects, right? It sounds like you obviously had an opposite experience here. As project managers, do you think there are any takeaways there? Are there, anything that project managers can learn from the way these veterans, former soldiers approach finding this career transition?
I think it's a lot of listening. As project
Mhm.
managers, I think that's a big downfall for many of us is lack of listening, both to our stakeholders above us and below us, our customers. So it's a lot of listening, and that goes into the scope statement I build for these soldiers that are leaving the military, is
Mhm.
help them fine tune what they need. To me, it's fine tuning. They're already there. They have the skills. They're successful. They've been successful in their careers as soldiers, being promoted. It's not hard. They're very motivated and it's for themselves too. And they realize that when they're getting out, they understand that. And it's more helping them again, fine tune, find out what's going on in their personal life. If they need help finding different resources that can help them, either networking or through the Veterans Administration we have in the
Mhm.
United States of America. So
Awesome.
that's what it is. It's just a hand holding them through this process.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
they're highly motivated. These guys are very capable, and females. These men and women are
Mhm.
very capable of doing this. Sometimes they just need a little guidance. And I wish I had had that when I got out because there was a void. So I understand their mentality and that
Mhm.
gap they're filling in themselves and just how
Mhm.
to help them navigate through that.
Got it. Interesting you mentioned void because I also wanted to touch on the emotional ROI side of things here because as we discussed, you started this journey to fill a void. And now that you're entering year two and have seen these veterans transition into project management, has this actually cured those Sunday evening blues that we talked about?
It has for me. It's helped. I want to get more involved with it is my long-term goal. Even if it's volunteer work, it's just becoming more engaged in building community is kind of what I felt like I was missing. And to add to it, I was a remote project manager, so that adds some isolation to it. I was
Mhm.
okay at dealing with it, peaks and valleys though. Sometimes it wasn't that great. So this definitely has helped me as a
Awesome.
mentor, as it's giving back. That's what was missing was instead of
Awesome.
just doing corporate America projects, I'm giving back to people and helping them grow.
Love that. And giving back is the whole concept behind PMC Lounge channel as well. I am going to be sharing Michael's contact as well, mostly LinkedIn, in the description below. So you can get in touch with Michael if you are interested. But I believe Michael only is interested if you are a military veteran. But, anyways, and
I can talk to anybody. If you're not a veteran, it's okay. I'm okay at communicating with people that haven't served.
love that, love that. And I do know that there are others out there who might be interested in something like this, right? They might have been managing projects for a long time. And who knows, they might be sitting in the traffic right now or on their desks right now and listening to us and thinking, that they might not have the time for this. So let's actually talk about it. How much extra time and effort does this mentoring engagement actually take for you, Michael?
Well, this is the good thing. You can kind of throttle it up or down depending on the person you're mentoring. For me, it can be as little as 1 hour a month to 4 or 5 hours per month. It can be virtual, which helps because I travel full time. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of flexibility there where you don't have to put a lot of time into it. It's more just working with that person you're mentoring and developing what they need and when they need it. And sometimes some veterans will need more attention than others. Like I said, I had another guy that was once every couple months. I felt like I was bothering him. He was just off to the races on his own, which is
Mhm.
great. But then from my standpoint, I'm like, well, I'm not really doing enough to help this person. I want to get that fulfillment by helping others. And this guy he was great getting all the certifications, and he was just off to the races and didn't really need me. So I mean,
Mhm.
again, it's just hand holding them and finding out what they need and just filling that transitional period to get them off to the races. And
Love
they're
that.
there.
Love
They
that.
just need that little bit, and they don't even need it. I think it makes their lives easier knowing they have someone they can go to and another resource.
Yeah, in case of questions and someone who has actually walked that path, basically. Now, if someone wants to start this week mentoring people, right? And since you have been there, you have done that. What could be the initiating phase for them? Let's say, like, what should be the very first step someone should take? And I'm talking about from both perspectives, right? Like from your perspective, how did you start? What was your first step in mentoring people? And if someone wants to be the mentee, right, what should they do?
From my standpoint, one of my friends who happens to not be a veteran, he was mentioning that he started volunteering for them. And what I did, the process for me was he gave me a contact. I emailed them. You fill out an application form from a mentor perspective. You fill out
Mm,
an application form, submit it, and they'll send. It's not AI generated. They actually, the ACP, American Corporate Partners, is the company. They
mm,
go in and they will give you two or three people that they think will fit your particular background. You choose one. You essentially
mm.
have an interview with the person that you're going to mentor.
Okay.
From the mentee standpoint, they'll go to the website. I can provide that after this
Mm,
call if you'd like. It's
mm,
www.acp-usa.com. There, I guess I
Okay.
don't need to put it in the link now. I already said it. But they'll go in there and begin that process. And then we'll meet halfway. What ACP does is partners us, obviously.
Love that. Love that. Okay, awesome. I think that's definitely an actionable insight that people can
Right.
take away from our conversation. Before I let you go, I saw your profile picture and I would need a better one for the thumbnail of this podcast for sure. But you seem to be enjoying some motorcycle excursions across USA. Please talk something about it.
Across the world. Yeah. And you're in India. I just done India a year ago. I was in
Oh,
India
yeah.
picking up my Royal Enfield in New Delhi.
Mm,
I'm currently in Medellin, Colombia. I'm getting a motorcycle tomorrow and doing some riding down here. So yeah, it's been a lot of traveling the past 2 or 3 years, 3 years now of just
mm.
motorcycling. And then I picked up a new addiction, scuba diving. So my parents are thrilled with that. Little sarcasm there.
And I think even you've shared something on your blog. I would like to share a link to that in the description of this video itself. But yeah, you wanted to add something more, I guess, about
No,
motorcycling.
that's it. And I did want to state that I am not a representative for ACP. I'm simply one of their mentors, and I don't want to
Mm.
misconstrue
Yeah,
screw that I'm working for them. But I'm
yeah.
speaking more from my personal experience and the benefits. They've all been
Mhm.
beneficial. There's all been positives from it. So I just want to throw that in there.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, love that. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Michael. It has been inspiring, and I'm sure our community will learn a lot from the discussion. It has been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks again for taking the time out
Great. Thank
and
you very
joining us
much, sir.
today.
Have a good day.